Good morning. You are listening to WCEG TalkRadio.com. You can watch us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We always appreciate your support with us. We have this morning Pauline Mansfield. And before we started, I want to let you know that all the opinions and the subjects, topics we talk here are not responsibility for WCEG Talk Radio. Thank you, Pauline, for being here. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. It's always my honor, my friend. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Pauline. So today we have, we just said goodbye to 2022 and we are greeting 2023. It's unbelievable how the time runs so fast.
Yes, absolutely.
So many of you know Pauline Mansfield, but for those who don't know, Pauline, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yes. I am actually a native of a little town outside of Washington, D.C. called Chapel Hill, Maryland. That was my foundation. I loved growing up there. It's a wonderful space, about 5 miles long and 3 miles wide. And I came to Atlanta to school, met a man, got married, moved to Chicago, and then came back to this place that I love so much, Atlanta. So here I am, and here I'm going to be for the duration. I love this town.
That's great. Pauline, and at the end of the last year, I was talking about, new plans, reflections, and everything. So I want to begin, I want to begin for those people who, I think last year was hard, very hard. We lost many people.
Yes.
A lot new things come, plans come, but they didn't work. I feel, in my opinion, personally for me, I think I took so much and I realized that I have to slow down now more than before. Now I feel like it right now, it's like when you touch deeply and you say, no, I have to slow down and just take some things that are really gonna compromise and just put out other opportunities for other persons to come, So for you, Pauline, what has been, what is the feeling for last year?
Last year was an interesting year for me. It was both a really productive and good year in that as a writer, I received so many writing opportunities, which boosted my confidence as a writer. But at the same time, like you and the rest of the world, I have lost so many dear friends. And your world doesn't stop. You have to go on. And so in the midst of it was like balancing all of this dark with accepting all the blessings that God had given me. One doesn't cancel out the other. So you have to just pick yourself up and find a way to move on and thank God for what we've got and use that to bless somebody else. So, it was just a constant up, down, all year long, trying to balance those two things, to stay in a state of gratefulness and go through grief at the same time, but keeping it moving. So it was a good and a bad, but I have so many wonderful things in my life. Family, friends, a good space to land in every day. That I have to just say to myself, it's okay, Pauline, just keep it moving. And they don't call me the Turtle Queen for nothing. I have no problem with moving one step at a time, slow
Mm,
but sure.
mm,
And, if I can get up in the morning, if my eyes open and I'm not crazy, my children answer the phone, I'm good. So I'm very hopeful. I am actually very excited about 2023. I'm glad to leave 2022 behind. It's got to be better in 2023 in every way.
mm,
So I'm entering this year with hopefulness.
mm.
That's where I am.
That's great, Pauline. And talk a little bit about what the people calling you Turtle Queen.
The Turtle Queen.
Yes, please.
Let's see if I can make this story short. 25 years ago, this will make 26 years, I went through a very traumatizing divorce. And part of my life ended. And I walked through a wall and started all over again. I mean, literally from the bottom.
Mm,
And it was such a tough place to be. There were so many things I had to learn. I was a wife who just gave power all to her husband. Big mistake.
yeah.
Big mistake. I didn't know who Pauline was. And I had to literally re-educate myself on just life lessons. And when I started at that place, I had a million things to learn.
Mm,
And I had to take them one at a time. And I got into a discussion with a friend about the story of the tortoise and the hare. And I said, my friend said to me, "You are going nowhere slow," which was such an insult to me.
mm,
And I thought about that for a second. I went, well, I'm moving. So the point is to just keep it moving. And I
mm.
said, "Have you read the story of the tortoise and the hare?" And my friend said, "No." I said, "Go read it." And I said, and just take it in. And even though I felt like I was in a fight with a friend, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I don't care where I am right now. I'm going to make this work. And not once did I think about jumping off a bridge, Ramona. I said, I'm just going to, whatever I have to do. If I have to swim up a stream, if I have to climb the mountain, I'm going to make it through the other side, whatever is there. Because I had no idea what was there. I mean, I was essentially homeless. I didn't have a home to live in. I lived in a friend's basement for 5 years because I started over. And but my friend who let me live with her was like an angel to me. I mean, she just, without getting in my way, she let me live, helped me live, and just was a spiritually supportive sister to me. And so little things help you move forward, just like the turtle does. I'm fascinated by turtles because number one, they are so absolutely beautiful. If you look on YouTube or just look in, people don't use encyclopedias anymore, but if you did look in the encyclopedia, you could see a million different versions of the turtle, their colors, their shapes, some in water, some can climb mountains, some can go through dirt. They amaze me. And so I like equating myself to the turtle. And I like wearing that turtle hat. And I love people calling me the Turtle Queen because it means more than just that title. It means that I have a strength that I didn't even know I had. It means that I can get to the other side of the road, dodging cars and animals, and I can get there. So that has become my life's brand. It's become my brand, my that's who I am. And I wear it proudly. I still move slow. I have to get up, Ramona, and plan my day because I know I'm going to be creeping through it, but I have to get stuff done. I have to check stuff off the list. So I start with a list. So I can make sure I can get to the other side of the road. It may take me half the day to get there, but I am positive that I can make it to the other side of the road. So that's the short story of the turtle story.
That's great. That's great. And I think it's very inspirational, but very important thing that you say you found a meaning, a meaning on it's a human being, an animal, turtle, but if you see close,
yes,
you can inquire more than it's just a turtle. It's life, and it's a way to survive,
Yes.
So that is I think today for this show, my purpose is to show people we are beginning the year. We have to find the meaning in something little and just keep going. No matter if it's slow or it's, the main reason is that you don't stop.
That's correct.
You don't have to stop.
That's right. That's absolutely true. And I will tell you, Ramona, one of the things that I admire so much about you is your bravery. Sometimes it's crazy bravery.
Many of the times, I'm sure of that.
I just see you standing on the end of the diving board. You just close your eyes and jump. Now, I don't do that. I have to think about it, process it, pray, talk to God before I actually jump and say, okay, God, is there water down there that I'm going to be landing in, or just a cement bottom? But you just jump. And so I admire the fact that you tackle so many new things. And so I had made it a part of my promise to this Turtle Queen that I'm going to be just a tad more daring. I don't think I can be as daring as you, but just a little bit more daring to not say no so quick to things that scare me. So I thank you for that.
Yes, I think many people today gonna identify, people in the audience gonna identify with your personality and my personality and how how we act doing our things.
Yes.
But always it's good, always it's good to stop and think about it. But many of the times, my brain thinks that if things come, just do it. No matter what, don't think on what's gonna happen, just do it. Because, I feel opportunities don't come easily.
True.
But through the time, believe or not, but through the time I've been thinking, especially last year, I have to slow down a little bit and think about it, because right now, for me, right now, I'm not like I was years before, faster, flexible with my time, and projects that I have are not very easily. So I have to say no to things that come to me.
Okay.
And let those things to new people that come, and they looking also for opportunities. So I feel like that, but it's slow. The main goal is to achieve, and continue with your confidence, but also I feel like we all have to think what we can take and what we cannot take. because
Mhm.
if not with the time, our face gonna be, like our reputation gonna be, no, don't offer to that person because gonna say yes, but not gonna do, like that. So I think I'm on that point right now. And it's what I feel many people, outside identify with this, because we are very eager to do so much, but we have to be very conscious that not all the time we're going to be able to do it or complete it. Right.
Yes.
So I think it's a January is a month to put everything in place and just continue and working.
Yes.
So, and you also say something about domestic violence, the incident or domestic violence. And I know, unfortunately, so many people, so many women and men are suffering for this. What is the message, Pauline? Or, I cannot imagine, the victim feeling or thoughts like you was saying, you was without anything, don't know where to start. What you recommend, the message you can give to people outside?
I'm glad you asked me that, because I think domestic violence is probably one of the most horrible things that can happen in the lives of not just women, both men and women, anybody who suffers it. And, it was something I never saw coming. I'm a very joyful person. And I just never thought I'd end up with someone who treated me so badly. And I didn't have the kind of strength and confidence that I have now. So the interesting thing is, if that had not happened to me, I would not be the person I am today. I would not be a writer.
Mhm.
I would not be on a mission to help other people find themselves in whatever it is. So that's my goal in the rest of, one of my friends says I'm in the last quarter. I'm going to make the best of this last quarter.
Mhm.
But as having been a victim, and I'm glad I'm no longer one, I survived it and I came out on the other side a much better person, a much more confident person. I learned so many lessons having gone through that trauma.
Mhm.
But for victims who are in it, it can end a life either by the person who's abusing, or it can end the life because the person who's the victim feels like they can't take it anymore.
Mhm.
Fortunately, I was not one of those people. There's so many parts to domestic abuse. I mean, we could spend days talking about how horrific it is, how it destroys lives, what people need to do who are in it. But if there's some short advice I would give to people who may be in it, is to seek help. There's so many ways people can get help now. And I, fortunately, 26 years ago, I came in when the government helped me. People talked about how government is over involved, but government helped me because the law had just been passed that was made to protect women. Our president, Biden, is the one who introduced that law into Congress. It's the bill that helped protect women, particularly at that time, against domestic abuse. So all the things were put in place for me, Ramona, that helped me get out of it. So there's so many things that will help you get out of it, and the law will protect you.
Mhm.
So I knew that. I'm glad I knew that, because I knew it. Knowledge is power.
Mhm.
Because I was aware of that law, I used every bit of the services that were offered to me. There was a Center for Domestic Violence that helped me prepare to go to court. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I was going through my very difficult divorce, I had a jury trial. A jury trial. It was like something on reality TV. And so I couldn't afford a lawyer when I first started. So they helped me write my document, prepare my documents, so that I was ready when I went to court. Just like everything else in life, preparation is the key. And going into 2023, that's my word. That is going to be, everybody should have one word that they're taking into 2023. I don't care what it is, as long as it's a positive word. But for whatever I do this year, I am going to be prepared. I'm not going to wait till the last minute. I'm going to have everything I need to get to the other side of the road. And so I had to learn all that when I was going through this domestic abuse. So in the starting over, you know, just like me, I had to find a place to live. I lost my home, everything in it. I was working poor. I had a job, but there is something called working poor. They go to work every day, but you don't have enough money to make it to the next paycheck. And that was me. I had an old car, you know, and I would just pray that it would get me from one point to the next point. So rebuilding a life for someone who has been abused is difficult because there's so many parts to it. And if you are a young woman who has children, it's even harder. Because many people stay because you can't drag babies from pillar to post. If you're going into a shelter, it has to be a shelter that accepts a whole family. You know, so there's so many pieces to it, Ramona.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that, number one, I was strong. I was stronger than I thought I was. And so I kept that strength in my head, in my soul, and knowing I had to just keep pushing forward. And I could deal with not having everything I wanted, but I had everything I needed. A person provided a roof over my head. I ate every day. I still had a job, even though I was the working poor, I still had a job. So I kept working. And I just rebuilt one step at a time. And I was never ashamed of where I was at any time. You know, if I had ended up in a cardboard box, I would have just made the best of the box. So I just rebuilt one thing, not thinking too far ahead. I can't do that. As some people can. I can't. I have to think tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. So I didn't overextend myself. I didn't overplan. I knew I had to rebuild. So I started saving. I think I started saving like $10 a month, and then $15 a month, and then $25. I do everything in increments. And that makes me not get as frustrated trying to get to 1 million. Started with 10.
Yes.
And 10 to get to 1 million.
But few by few, you know,
That's right. I just took it piece by piece by piece by piece. So if there's any one message I would leave for someone who may be in that situation, and I don't wish it on anybody, is that you're still alive. If you're fortunate, you're still alive. There are laws to protect us. You use them. You take advantage of every law out there is. You seek counseling if you need it. I did that too. I did it all. I went to see a counselor so I would not go crazy. And there are even free counseling services that are offered to people. You'd be amazed at how many services there are. So there's, I wish I had it handy with me, but there's a 1-800 number for people who are suffering domestic abuse. And you can just pull it up on Google. You know, we have the good fortune of having phones in our hands 24/7. So you can do anything on a phone and you will be protected. If you go to the right place, to the right people at the right time, don't do anything crazy, then you can save yourself. And it takes all of us to keep fighting to overcome abusers, to
And
make that stop.
Pauline, how long you have to be suffering for this violence, and you know how many time it took you? Because I know a lot of victims for domestic violence have create the mentality that is because their fault. Is because because in one moment you believe you did something and you deserve that.
Right, correct. Because the abuser wants to make you think that. Your question is interesting, Ramona. How long did I suffer? You know, for some people, it's there forever. There are little pieces of it that probably still live in me. Number one, I'm not as trusting of some people that I would be had I not suffered that. I'm very cautious when it comes to like relationships. I'm not talking about sister friends. I'm talking about relationships with men. I'm really cautious. And that will probably never go away with me. Everybody is different. But for me, that fear that lingers with trusting will probably remain there because my situation was so difficult. So when you ask how long, sometimes forever. I mean, I can tell you horror stories of people who did not make it out of an abusive situation. Actually, people I knew. And one wrong decision can end a life. I will tell you just real quick, this is one of the saddest stories I encountered after I had come through. So my mission after I had come through was to give as much advice to other women so they would not go through what I went through. And there was a young lady that came to the job I was working on, and we became really good friends. She found out that I had too been abused. So she would come and talk to me. So it helps to have somebody to talk to. She was a really quiet, sweet girl. I liked her so much. She worked very hard, one of the best employees we had. And her story was she was abused badly, had been beaten. And finally she left. She came to Atlanta from North Carolina, started her life all over again, one piece at a time, just like I did. And then she filed for a divorce from this person and decided that she would go back to get things. She had been in Atlanta for 5 years, probably. She went back to get things. When she went back to get things, she went with 2 police officers. They went with her into this house where her former husband was, and he grabbed the gun of an officer, killed both officers, killed her, and then killed himself. So a major piece of advice I give to people: things don't mean a thing. You can replace things. I mean, she had rebuilt a life, probably not to the degree that she had lived in before. And that lesson to me is paramount. We are strong enough as women to do what we need to do to start over. It's harder sometimes, particularly when you have children, but you can. You can. And to me, it's better to do that, no matter how minimal you have to start over with, than to give your life away to go back and get a thing.
Yeah.
When I left my home, Ramona, I left with zero. I left with me.
Mm-hmm.
I left with me.
The most important.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had no clothes. I had no furniture. I didn't have a fork, spoon, or dish.
Mm.
And I'm going to tell you how I started my life over again. I went to, you and I are big thrifters. Thrifting is fun. You know, people don't judge me because I have something that's thrifted. Hey, it's wearable, it's clean, it's cute. You know, hey, you can find some good thrift stuff.
Mm.
But I found a little thrift store in East Point. Those two sisters had that thrift shop. They became a lifeline for me. And I think you said something about the little things. I bought plate, cup, spoon, blankets, couch.
Mm.
I mean, one thing at a time. And these women became my best friends because they were looking out for things. They knew I would rebuild. I was rebuilding. They even delivered stuff to my house. My first piece of furniture, couch. They put it on the back of a truck. You know, we women.
Yes. And we very stubborn. When we put
Right,
the
right. We can do all kinds of things, Ramona.
yes.
They put couch, chair. I mean, I have a chair in my house to this day. I think I will always keep it. It's my favorite sitting reading chair. I paid $25 for. It's the best sitting chair I have in this house. But the moral of the story is sometimes we have more strength than we think we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sorry I went through. I wouldn't wish that on an enemy. You know, going through any abusive situation. I wouldn't. But I learned how strong I was. That I am a survivor. One of my favorite songs is "I Will Survive." I will survive. If I could sing, I'd sing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know I will survive. You know, I may not have something that somebody else has, but I have me.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very happy with me and where I have landed, the friends I have made, like you, Ramona. I would have never had that opportunity had I not walked through that fire. So, you know, we just feel the fire, but we can walk through it. We can. Did I answer your question?
You did. You did. Thank you so much. And before everything happened, I'm gonna thank you, our producer, Penny and Vivian. They looking out very important numbers that you have to have. Domestic violence national hotline is 100-799-SAFE. It's a 100-799-7233. Or you can text star 288-788. The help you can call 24/7, the 365 days a year, the whole year. So it's you know, important message, valuable words for a survivor. And one thing that I thank you and I love you say is a step by step. A nation, a building, don't build in one day. It
Right.
takes so much time.
Yes.
And many of the times, because I know, you know, many people outside is just questioning. Last year I worked so hard and I don't see anything happen. I don't grow. My finances are very slow, very little, but it takes time. And one thing that I learned personally is that you work, you work, and you work. And one day you never know, somebody was looking at you. And it's when the opportunity, the best opportunity come to you, you just need to come to have patience and don't stop.
Yes.
I have seen, for another side, I have seen so many people walking on the same way like me, besides me. People just give up. People just say, no, this is not making sense to me. And they stop. And when, we found in the road, they just say, I would be like you. I would be doing this. So my advice is like Pauline said, don't stop. It's just a step by step, few by few. And, I think that is the main key in everything in life. For someone who is sick, looking for help, you have to look in another doctor. But once with your patience and your faith, you find, sometimes we find persons that are not doctors. They are, people like have been living things like you. Right. You talk to them, you fix things, and you come back to your health. So just put attention on people around. I think that is the key, but don't, step by step. Life is like that. You cannot be old. And I have seen so many young people, they run so fast in life. They run. And I say, just take your time. Everything's gonna come. I think that is what this new generation has. I think that is a problem for this new generation. Well, I think because I was, when we are young, we would like to eat worse and use one seed. But now everything is so rushed. This new world is everything so rushed, so fast, requiring to you I feel the double than before. Life is running more fast.
Yes.
Pauline, before we go into the translation to our Hispanic community, Latino community, what are the plans for you this year? What I know you're an author, I know, but what are you planning for this year?
Well, my absolute passion is writing, so I'm going to continue to do that. But I also want to use my writing to continue to uplift people, and I will continue to do that. I will be on that path forever. But I want to be more technologically savvy.
I think that's my goal too.
Yes, I really run from that. I am a Toastmaster, and I joined Toastmasters so I could promote my writing more, better, so I could be a better seller. I could sell what I have, no matter what it is. If you're selling Avon, just be able to sell it. So you have to know how to talk to people. But COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
Because the whole world went virtual. Virtual? What is that? Oh my God. And so even in Toastmasters, we had to totally change. And part of the change was learning to operate all this equipment, like makes this radio show happen. All that's happening in the background, what button to push, how to put people on screen, how to mute, oh my God. And so in our club this year, I am responsible for operating that. Can you believe that, Ramona?
Oh.
So there's somebody out there that teaches everything. So I am going to put myself in touch with all these technically savvy people so they can show me comfortably which button to push, how to put the PowerPoint up on the screen. I've been doing it over the last year, but painfully. But I want to get to the point where it's not so painful, because no matter what we do in this life now, you're going to have to be connected to technology. There's no way around it. We live in that new world. That's the planet we're on now.
Yes.
And even though it makes me really nervous, I am determined in 2023 to do it like I've been doing this all my life. If a 3-year-old can do it, God knows I can.
I know.
I mean, really, I'm not going to let a 3-year-old insult me. So I want to get on that cycle and not let it terrify me, because it's the key to my success. And I know that.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be able to create a blog. I need to be able to do a podcast. I need to feel comfortable in all of that space.
Yes.
So I'm going to just one step at a time, Ramona. I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to blink, and I'm just going to do it.
Yes.
Because it will make me more accessible to the world.
Yes.
It's just amazing how much world is out there. I mean, we think of our world as our little teeny community, but it's far beyond that.
Yes. And it's, it's like I said, I'm very, I'm an old soul, and I always thinking on the past with my grandmother, on the past, on the farm, on the past, how I grow up and all of that. And I'm telling you, it's terrifying to think, because we talk. I remember with my grandma, with, my father told us, you have to do this because you have to, in the past, it's going to be so many machines and they're going to do your job. But right now you have to learn and you have to do it by yourself.
Right. But the amazing thing about you, Ramona, okay, I hear you saying this, and I know your background, but here you have been on the radio. How long?
I know.
Just thinking, do that.
It's just,
the world did she do that? This is what year number, is this year number 4?
Yeah, since 2017.
5.
Yes.
That is amazing to me. So, and you know what? I think it helps us to look to someone that we know personally who is doing things that we can't do. I look to you. I do. I look to you because when you say, Pauline, will you come on the radio? I'm thinking, what? I don't know anything about that. What?
Yes, but it's a lot support for the producer, Miss Penny, Vivian, all the team behind this. And I have been noticing, putting attention, just watching, listening, and I have been learning few things, but and it's increasing, and it's the way you do it. It's the way you can go beyond.
But you took the step. That's the important thing. You took the step. You said, okay, I don't know a thing about this.
That's very true.
I will step forward and try it. And when we do that, you can find, and I don't care, I'm an old girl. I don't even tell people how old I am. But you know what? Don't challenge me and say I can't do it. Don't do that. I'm going to show you that I can. It may take me a little longer. Don't you dare tell me I can't do it. I don't, because it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with where you live, where you come from. If you say, I'm going to do it, then you have said it to yourself that you're going to do it. You may stumble, you may fall.
That's very true.
You can always get back up. So this year, I might even go skydiving, because that's something I really have always wanted to do, Ramona.
Oh, that's very true. And because this technology is moving so fast, virtual life is real now. So,
Yes.
and you have to move and you have to be updated and you have to, it's the only way of communicating right now.
Right.
We don't know until when, but you know, it's the way we have to learn. The ones we come from the past, we have to learn on this future. And you know, but always, I always encourage people, just keep yourself, just keep the way you live, the way your ancestors, your old
Yes.
ones, teach you, because that is the valuable things you can own in your soul.
Right.
So that is part of your soul, of you, or your, you know, what you want to preserve for your children. But you have to move on. You have
Correct.
to, with the technology, you can be behind, because it's the way the world is moving now. You know,
Right.
like in your career, in your professional setting, is the way. So we have to do it. And
Right.
you know, I want to encourage everybody outside, like Pauline said, don't worry because you all, don't worry because you don't know, don't worry because you don't have the tools. Look for that and look for your growth personally, professionally, because when you do this, it's life you are living. You know, if you love life, no matter what problem you have to look out, because that is true. There is so much support outside, but you have to take the time. You have to take the time to look for the right support for you. But there is an old say that say, the person who look find. You know,
I like that.
en Spanish es los que buscan encuentran.
The person who looks finds.
Uh-huh. The person who is looking is gonna find something. So
I'm writing that down.
It's something that you have to keep in mind. If you're looking for something, you're gonna find something. So be careful what you are looking.
Yes, 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 yes.
So right now, Pauline, I want to thank you so much the time you take for us. I want to thank you the openness to talk about, you know, domestic violence, the message you provide for our audience. And I want to add this to the victims. Even if you believe you are not a victim, if people is treating you, if people is screaming at you, if people is manipulating you, you are living domestic violence. Domestic violence is not only physical, but domestic violence is only psychological, emotional. So be careful with that. I hope this message is helpful for young people, old people, men's, women's, because once you see this, you have to be very careful. You have to start thinking how much I love myself. Yes. Or if this person worth, I give the life for this person to suffering all this manipulation, all these treatings, mistreatings. So be careful with that, because it's unfortunately a way of living for some people who likes to abuse, who likes to take advantage for, you know, soft people. And not soft people on the bad way, but soft people on the way, because there are so many people that would like to have a family, would like to maintain their children with father or mother, but that is not the way. So be careful with that. So quickly, I'm gonna translate for our Hispanic and Latin community. Buenos días, están escuchando WCEG. Estamos hoy en nuestro lugar bilingüe, hoy con Pauline Mansfield. Quiero compartirles un poquito sobre ella. Pauline Mansfield es una autora de libros. Ella ha escrito 4, si no me equivoco, 4 libros. El primero de los libros fue acerca de su vida, que ella, parte de su vida vivió sumida en violencia doméstica. Ella es una sobreviviente de violencia doméstica y hoy nos manda un mensaje muy importante. Las personas que sufren violencia doméstica y logran salir de esta etapa de violencia tienen que empezar de nuevo, tienen que construir su vida de nuevo, su vida emocional, su vida financiera, su vida personal, profesional, desde abajo. El consejo que ella nos da es empiecen poco a poco, busquen ayuda. Gracias a Dios nosotros en los Estados Unidos tenemos ayuda que hasta en las iglesias nos pueden dar. Hay psicólogos, hay consejeros en las escuelas. Arrímense a esos lugares, no tengan vergüenza. Hay hombres sufriendo violencia doméstica, mujeres, jóvenes que sufren de este mal social. Tienen que hacer su mente, su corazón, su espíritu fuerte y decir ya no más. También el mensaje que hoy les quiero dar es, estamos empezando el año nuevo, empiécenlo con alegría, empiécenlo con nuevos planes, planeen lo que pueden tomar, su trabajo, sus compromisos con su familia y pues un año nuevo les deseo a todos que sea bueno en dinero, en trabajo, en salud. Y quiero, antes de irnos, quiero leerles, darle la información sobre la línea principal de violencia doméstica. Es una línea nacional. Ustedes pueden marcar el 1-800-799-7233. O pueden marcar un mensaje de texto con la palabra STAR, S-T-A-R-T, y al 888-788. Marcan allí, mandan un mensaje de texto. Estas organizaciones y esta línea nacional están atendiendo 24 horas, los 7 días de la semana, los 365 días del año. Hay otra organización que se llama Georgia Coalition Against Domestic Violence y el número es 1-800-334-2836. So there is another, I think it's an organization, is a Georgia Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Yes. So the number is 1-800-334-2836. Les deseo un feliz año. Busquen ayuda, no nomás en violencia doméstica, pero en cualquier otra necesidad que ustedes tengan. Si sufren ustedes saben que Dios no lo quiera nunca, pero si ustedes están escuchando, sufren algún episodio de violencia, reporten los crímenes. Es importante que las autoridades sepan que nuestra comunidad está sufriendo crímenes y puedan recibir ayuda. No importa el estatus que tengan, y pues de allí se sigue investigando y se sigue fortaleciendo nuestra comunidad hispano y latina. Esta plataforma de WCEG está al servicio de la comunidad. Cualquier sugerencia, cualquier mensaje que tengan para nosotros, cualquier tema que ustedes quieran que tratemos en nuestro lugar bilingüe, por favor escríbanos. Recuerden que nos pueden ver en YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, pueden mandar mensajes de texto y un mensaje en YouTube y nosotros estaremos listos para responderles. Les agradezco mucho a nuestra audiencia que nos escuchen cada sábado y pues aquí estamos para seguir atendiendo a nuestra comunidad. Thank you so much, Pauline. Thank you so much for our audience to listening to us. Remember, WCEG is a platform for the community, so we always are encouraging our audience to send us a message, watching us, wishing all our videos on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Send us, please, a message with your suggestions, your opinions. If you would like to talk about any topic, let us know so we can work on that. Thank you so much, WCEG, our producers, Penny, Rogers, Vivian. Thank you for helping us to put this outside for our community. And Pauline, again, thank you, because I think today we talk about everything, a little bit. So people is watching out, I'm sure for that. And many of the times there are people looking for some words. And I think today was very refreshing for this. So, Pauline, what is the message you leaving us for January 2023?
Well, this was such a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I love talking to you, my sister. I do.
Thank you.
And words do make a difference. I mean, if I took anything away, was the person who looks fine. So I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. that was just great. And words can uplift, they can inspire, they can absolutely change a life. So continue using your words, Ramona, to do that. I mean, you bring so much to my life. I love you for who you are. And all the inspiration that you bring to so many, and you don't even know it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pauline. And the same, the same like me. I think we learn through words, we learn through people. So we just need to put attention. And it's something that I feel the world had been lost in that. But we have to back to the back, So,
that's why we write, Ramona. That's why we write, because words can change the world.
That's very true. Okay, so without anything more, I'm gonna invite you all to the next show on February. And Happy New Year, a lot of health, and a lot of success for everybody. Thank you.